completely emotional about it. He was an extremely emotional man, very difficult. As he told me, I alienated everybody, but he didn't alienate me and Richard, did he? No, he didn't.
We would have our fights, but we'd get over them right away, in the same moment.
He yelled at me a couple of times, and I just let him finish, and then he'd say, well, let's go drink some martinis. And he could always drink martinis more than I could. Richard didn't mention Frank Lloyd Wright, but I think that Frank Lloyd Wright was a great symbol in his life. Wright was against the world, he fought it, and so did Alfred. He went to Taliesin several times, 4 times I believe, and was invited to join there. Gita, his wife, didn't want to go, she wanted to have her own house.
Yeah. And I think the seed of this place was planted in 1932 when he went and Wright agreed to meet with him so Alfred could read poetry.
That's
and
right.
they met, and then
That's
Wright really liked him and wanted him to stay. And I really believe that because when he talks about those things, and Wright said we're going to be farmer architects, and we're just, it's us against the world kind of thing.
Yes.
You can't practice modern architecture. You can't prostitute yourself, so
That's
you
right.
just have to hang out on this. It's a refuge.
Oppenheimer recommended he buy this place. He said it will save your life, and it certainly did. He used it as a place of refuge, a place of retreat, a place to build without being having to make compromises. He didn't like any compromises at all. And he used it to experiment and to learn his poetry and recite it. His family helped him build this house, practically killed them all with these gigantic boulders. Carol, his now deceased daughter, I don't know how many times she stood in front of the hearth and said, well, Alfred was pushing those great big stones, and I was pushing him, and Jim, the son, was pushing me, and Gita in the end was pushing us, and we just thought, oh, shit, this is going to kill him.
Yeah.
But it didn't, and he went on and on and on with this. He, as I said, was a self-made man. He was working on the lily pool, and in came 3 Germans. They were all speaking German. Only one spoke English. That was Peter Hans, and they thought it was Frank Lloyd Wright who had done the work. And if you go to the lily pool, or if you go to Eagle Point Park, you will see a lot of writing influences there. But it was because of that meeting, and also Mies happened to have graded Alfred's architecture exam, that Mies invited Alfred to be the first American faculty member at IIT. When Mies hired him, Alfred didn't have a college degree. And Mies didn't have a college degree either. So it didn't bother him. Alfred had earlier applied for a position at Iowa State, and they had rejected it because he didn't have a degree, even though Jensen said he's a genius and he's the heir apparent to the Prairie School landscape architecture movement, which has happened to end with him as well for postmodern reasons, I guess. Gita said to me, I remember, must have said to you, that we just have to treat Alfred differently because he's an artist. And Frank Lloyd Wright told him that he was an artist when he went there. He said, you and I are artists. He recognized it right away. So Alfred came out here every weekend. Taught at IIT from 1945 to 1960, when he once again resigned in protest over how IIT treated Mies about the university. As Mies said, I knew it was spring because Alfred has resigned again, right? and if you knew Alfred, you could see why he might resign a lot. Because he, again, would brook no compromises. Mies appointed him because he could teach construction. And construction for Mies was not only building, it was the whole form. The whole thing was bound up in construction. Alfred would not even use the word design.
Right.
Design to him was, it shouldn't exist. It was construction, architectural construction, and he taught architectural history. You must have had his class. when Alfred taught architectural history, it was very, very different than when Peter Hans taught architectural history, which was, Peter Hans was this German intellectual, cold and dry, and here was Alfred Caldwell, like an exploding volcano. Every class. How many times did he tell you, I ran into every classroom. He would run in, you know, he would run in and start talking right away. So he was there for IT for 15 years, then he worked in the planning office in Chicago, and then he finally got another job at USC where he was there for 7 years during the height of the Vietnam War. Alfred was a total idealist, and this was the ideal place for him to work, and he died right here. Died right here. And I remember coming to see him shortly before he died, and he had no regrets, and he did it himself. And he knew when it was time to go. And Gita died right here too, right there in the kitchen. So this is a place of great significance. I do think it should be a National Historic Landmark, just like the Lily Pool. Larry, you're here somewhere, right? Mm-hmm. And it's very eligible for that. It would help a great deal to preserve it. You're right. He's going to run out of Alfred's money very soon. I had hoped that I would win the big lottery so I could take care of this for you, but I didn't. Somebody in Massachusetts won. But it really needs to be protected, and it's not being well treated in some ways, although I'm sure people love it. But I think it's so great that you would come out today to a place that maybe you'd heard about, but a man who you would never forget if you met him, because when he walked in the room, he took over.